Welcome to the I'm a Busy Guy show. My name is Vince LoCascio, and I'm a very busy guy. I've got two busy people here today. Charles Nemes, she's president of Barbizon School of Modeling in the Midwest, and Paige Elman, director of the Royal Model and Talent Management. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
I should be fair and say this is part two of our show we did earlier, and that show was pretty much how to get into the industry, what to be prepared for. And on this show, hopefully we'll cover, once you've got those tools, what to do with them. But I will, back up a little bit and ask you, once again, Charles, how did you get into the industry?
Well, again, 30 years ago, actually, it's now 38 years ago, I met my wife. And she was a professional model in Ireland and had decided to tour America. I met her in San Francisco, and we fell madly in love, and she stayed. I was a restaurateur, very much like yourself. I ran a very exclusive restaurant at the Fairmont Hotel for quite a while. And I always felt entrepreneurial. So I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to go into the restaurant business or go into the modeling school business. But with my background in management and having a very famous mom who was a dress designer, it seemed very easy for me to go into the modeling school business with my wife. And here we are, 31 years together in the business, working together, and having a great time. I'm still having a lot of fun.
And she's still beautiful.
And she is still beautiful.
Yes, she is. And Paige, you're an accomplished, you're a talent agent now, but you're an accomplished actor, singer?
Yes, I've done community theater my whole life, mostly musicals. I've done modeling as well. I was a 5-year-old, and my mom put me into the charm school called Wendy Ward at Montgomery Ward. And I did fashion shows as a 5-year-old and continued ever since. I trained vocally and have done cabaret singing and musicals, and eventually ended up in the business side of it and have been an agent for about 15 years now.
Which helps you do a much better job, because once you've experienced what you're telling these people how to do it.
Yes, I've experienced a lot of the same things, the talent I represent. I've experienced all the same things that they've gone through, the audition process, handling rejection, all those things that go into being an actor. I know exactly what they're feeling and where they're coming from. So I definitely know how to talk them through it and give them good advice.
Maybe we could, just jump ahead a little bit, but about why that word rejection is so big in this industry. Not big, but it's part of it. What do you feel?
Well, it's a little bit.
About that?
It's a little bit. It's a little bit different than applying for a job at an insurance company or at a pharmaceutical company. There they may interview 100 people. Whereas in the audition process for a TV film or a print job, they could be interviewing 1,000 people. Or for example, when Glee came into town, they must have saw about 20,000 people. So they're looking for one person out of 20,000 or one person out of 1,000. They have to be able, the other 999 people need to understand that it wasn't personal.
It's a business.
It's a business.
Exactly.
So if the client's looking for, a certain look and you don't have it, when you came in, like you said earlier, they're looking for a blonde, and 100 blondes come in, they're looking, to go through all that, and 99 are not going to get the job.
That's correct. And I can tell you that in most instances, when the model or the actor goes into the audition, they're immediately judged. And if you don't have a personality to come forth with it, then they're not going to call you back. You will be called back based on your personality.
Yeah. Personality is something, and acting is another thing too, because a lot of these famous actors, De Niro as an example, the greatest ever, whatever, he's the title he has, but when he gets interviewed, he's not, he's not as outspoken, obviously, as his characters are.
It's funny that you say that, because a lot of actors in real life are actually can be very shy people. But once they get on stage or get in front of a camera and they become that role, that character, it's like that switch, it's flipped, and all of a sudden they become a different person, and that's when you can really see their talents there. But in real life, they might be very shy, and that's very common with actors.
And that's why it's called acting, right?
That's
you're being
right.
something that you're not.
That you're not. Exactly right.
We had talked before about, some cities are better for runway, or high fashion and all that. But Chicago is becoming a mecca for TV and movies. What can you tell me about that?
Well, first of all, we can really thank Mayor Emanuel on this part. He has made a very conscientious effort to bring the entertainment industry here to Chicago, along with his brother.
And with his predecessor, credit due.
A little bit, a little bit. Daley did not bring as much entertainment to the Chicago area as Mayor Emanuel has, especially in the last, year.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to give him a shout out.
Sure.
It's a political show, but
no.
Yeah.
But the industry here in Chicago was never one for television. You had ER for a little while. You had one or two other shows that were non-existent after a while. Mm-hmm. I think it was First Edition. Now, in the last year, they had 5 television shows being filmed here. Some were not successful and it got canceled, but at least they were good shows and they tried. And they're going to continue to try. Mm-hmm. And now we have Kelsey Grammer here doing a series called Boss, and that's going to bring a lot of extra revenue, and that's going to be a very successful show.
And many of our actors last summer worked on the set of Transformers, which was a huge hit, huge summer blockbuster. They worked as extras, crowd scenes, but they learned a lot just from being on set. This past summer, we had Zac Efron, teen actor. I don't know if you're familiar with him, Vince.
I have 2 girls.
There you go.
High School Musical?
Oh, yes.
I know exactly.
Zac Efron's been in town quite a bit. He's filming a new movie called Heartland with Dennis Quaid. So he's been around town, and we've had some people work on that film as well.
Which leads us to, what we're talking about, the modeling industry, that it's a great market, and it's encouraging for people to get into this industry here because there is work here. But quickly to go through, not quickly, but other types of work. There's print. What can you tell? What is print?
Sure. So a print model, you can do catalog work, or you can do magazine ads, newspaper ads. We book print work for all different ages and types. Average Joes, not just the glamorous models and that type of thing. It's all different types, all different ages. And
what about industrial films?
We do a lot of industrial work too, so corporate videos where they have to, a corporation might have to train their employees, so they would have the actors come in and act as the employees for the corporate film. I have here,
what are your basic tools, you would say, to get into once you have them, to get into the business? This is referred to as a...
that would be a comp card.
Comp card. And tell me a little bit about this. It's not just the picture on the front, but on the back.
Sure. So the photos on the back show different expressions, different poses, just different styles that the model can do, and also it would have the model's stats. So it would be the model's height, her hair color, eye color, shoe size, bust, waist, hip, dress size, just so the client can see. And also it's important that the model shows some versatility. Smiley shots bring out the personality. And the most important thing is for the actor to look like their photo. So it's important to keep your photos updated. So if you decide to drastically change your look, if you decide to change your hair color, or if you look very different, the client expects you to look like that photo when you walk in the door for an audition. Well, we talked about that earlier, where with the magic of Photoshop, I can make a picture looks phenomenal, but then when you show up, you got to look like your headshot looks, right? Well, you have to look like your headshot. That's why when we suggest for our actors to use as little makeup as possible, we want natural looks. Natural. And this is a resume, which is, you got to have it. And if you don't have one, together we talked earlier about how go to school, be an extra. What other things can you say? Like if you don't have a long litany of things to put,
What would you like to see on there?
Do extra work, take a basic acting class, do community theater. Anything that you can do just to get exposed to the industry would look great on your resume.
Student films.
Sure, independent films. Student films are huge here in Chicago.
Huge. And especially for the teen and preteen market, of course I would suggest going to Barbizon.
There you go. Well, that's why we're here today. So now, once you've got these, you're going to auditions, and how is it that you find out auditions? And what, you're an agent, so somebody's done all these things. They've got these tools together now. They've got a headshot. They've got a resume. What's their next step to make some money? I mean, because nobody wants to do it just to volunteer. You obviously would like to get paid, but what's your recommendation to?
Well, I think if you're getting into this business right now to make a lot of money, then I think that you're coming into this business for all the wrong reasons.
Well, I mean the wrong reasons.
I mean, you could get lucky and go to your first audition and you can get it, and it can be paid a very nice sum. Or you might have to go on 20 different auditions to get it. Maybe you have to go on 50. Sandra Bullock is probably the greatest example. You thought that when she made Speed, she was an overnight sensation. Mm-hmm. It took her 10 years to get that far. Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but luckily we're in a very good commercial market area here in Chicago, to where we have independent production companies that are always looking for young talent in exchange for reels. We also have DePaul University, who's always looking for talent for their advanced placement classes to which they have there. We are supplying them with those particular type of talent all the time. Our problem here is that sometimes the talent doesn't want to go. Yeah. For whatever reason, they feel that the phone call should always come to them as opposed to being aggressive to try to build up their portfolio.
Right, you definitely have to pay your dues, that's for sure. You can't expect to get your headshot and get your agency representation, and then all of a sudden the next day you've landed your dream role in a commercial. It definitely takes a lot of patience and a lot of hard work, a lot of auditioning to get to that point where you're regularly booking jobs. And I think a lot of people have unrealistic expectations when it comes to the business. I think they expect a lot to happen very quickly when that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it takes a lot of getting your face out there so the casting directors get to know you and getting comfortable with auditioning and developing that relationship with your agent so they can send you out more auditions, expose you to more photographers and different clients and get you more work.
And they sense that, right? I mean, when you're going to an audition or casting, they sense that you're comfortable doing that, because so you're going to be comfortable when you're performing for them as well. Right?
I mean, auditioning is like an endless series of job interviews. It's like, imagine just going on job interview after job interview, and that's exactly what auditioning is like. And it's a way of life for an actor or a model.
And one of the fallacies of going to a modeling school or an acting school is that you're going to be an actor the next day. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, that's not true. What each school is doing is providing the tools of the trade. It's just up to you now to take those tools and open up the doors. We as agents, as I've always said, we'll open up doors for you, but it's up to you to keep those doors open. You need to be able to have a good headshot. You need to be able to have a telephone. You need to be able to read your emails every single day. And these are things on how we are trying to get a hold of you so you can go to that audition. But for some people, I find it funny that it may take them 3 days to come back and respond to us.
Yeah.
And after that, the job's done.
And you almost have to, if you're an actor or a model, you almost have to treat it as it's a small business. You are the product. It's a small business, and you have to treat it as such. So you have to make sure you follow up on your phone calls. You have to make sure that you are communicating with your agent and corresponding with them and making sure that you're on top of everything.
And on time.
That's right. There's nothing worse than being late.
No,
nothing
it's not
worse.
on time. You have to be 15 minutes to a half an hour early.
Yes. If you hold up the production, that reflects really poorly on your agency, and It costs a lot. Time is
Yeah.
money.
Well, I made the comment to you earlier that because you are my agent, that's disclosure. No, that every job or whatever audition that you've ever sent me to, everybody's very professional. It's not like you have this, vision of a director screaming on a set or, get out. Everybody's nice and professional.
Yeah.
And that's why, I have no problems in saying that your agency is very professional.
Thank you.
And
Thank
it's
you.
a pleasure to work with. And the high standards, I think you should mention again what you said about pageantries and teens
Well,
in school.
I think pageantries, I'm an advocate of pageantries. I like this American Miss pageant, mainly because it focuses in on education and not on bathing suits. I think that you should stay away from any pageant that has a bathing suit competition. I don't think that it is right for a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old to be in a bathing suit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yes, I find that so. But this is why we like this American Miss. It's a first-class operation. It also gives them, like we do, it helps gives these young children confidence and self-esteem.
And that self-esteem carries them through their whole life. So when they are interviewing for college or applying for college, or they're out in the business world going for job interviews, I think you can have the most fantastic resume, but if you don't interview well, it's going to be really tough for you to land a job. So interviewing skills is something else that we teach.
We talked earlier about, too, how, people get envision of modeling and they think a 6-foot, lady and a GQ kind of guy. But there's many other looks out there that people are looking for now. So tell me about how it adds to your plate that if you can be different looks, like look like a dad, look like a doctor to a mobster, that kind of thing. Is that valuable to be able to do that?
Absolutely. I mean, if you can think of what types can I be? Can I be the young mom? Can I look like the college kid? Can I be the executive type? Can I look like a doctor type? Can I look like a mobster? I mean, there's so many.
Why'd you point at me?
There's so obviously when they were casting The Sopranos, they were definitely looking for a type. So I'm sure every Italian actor auditioned for that when that was coming out. But it definitely, a lot of actors have different roles that they can play, and the more versatile you are, the better.
Yeah.
So, and we've got a lot of models who think, well, I'm just going to do print work, but there's so many non-speaking roles that are cast in commercials. And most of those are models who just have the right look and can take direction well and have the right facial expressions. So that happens quite a bit. So models cross over into acting, actors cross over into the modeling world. So it's
Yeah, Charles had mentioned that even if you're just doing print and you're never speaking a word, you still have to act. You've got to make expressions.
You have to, and you're finding out more and more in the past 10 years that actors are finding themselves on the covers of Cosmopolitan and Vogue and Italian Vogue, whereas before it was exclusive for a very high fashion model. So now, for somebody who's 5'4", like Katie Holmes, who you've often seen on the cover of Vogue, who's 5'4", would never have been on there had she not been the successful personality that she is.
Didn't you mention that Ashton Kutcher got his start as
Ashton Kutcher
model?
actually went to a modeling school in Iowa and was discovered there, and he went to become a model. And shortly through his career, he instantly decided that he would be a much better actor. And as you can see, success has really has been great for him.
Yeah.
And he's a good-looking guy.
What do you feel that the internet has done for the industry, pros and cons? I mean,
well, on the negative side of it, everybody feels that they're owed something. Whether they go to a modeling school or not, they feel that they've spent $100 on something, or they spent $1,000 on something else. They feel automatically that they should be reciprocated in a financial gain. Well, that's not it at all. So there's obviously a lot of negativity on the internet about modeling and acting. I think you should avoid reading those. If you're serious about going into this industry, you are going to have to pay your dues. There's no question about it. There are no guarantees in this business. There's no guarantees in baseball. There's no guarantees that you've taken 14 years of piano and you're going to become a concert pianist. There's no guarantees that you've taken 14 years of figure skating and that you're going to become a figure skater, a professional figure skater. Same thing with dancing and singing. These young athletes put a lot of time and effort into their profession. Actors and models need to do the same thing.
That's absolutely right. And a good actor or model, they never stop learning. So I started acting and modeling when I was a kid, and I still take acting classes just to keep up. I don't want to get rusty. Just like an athlete, they don't work out just once a month. They work out regularly. So you have to keep those skills up so your craft never gets rusty. So you're prepared when you go into auditions. You know your monologue. You know how to work a scene with another actor. So those skills constantly have to be going.
And the schooling's out there. I mean, I took advantage of it at Triton College, acting classes there. And they, I'll be honest, it was great because it wasn't like a lot of memorizing or doing small plays. A lot of it was, he told us all the things that we're talking about now, that you need a headshot, that you need a resume, and how to do that. And I think it deserved a lot of credit. His name was Lyle Brown. But he taught you all the practical part about it.
And that's the one thing that also at Barbizon teach the basics of the industry. What is a callback? What is a voucher? What do I need to bring when I go? What is expected of me? How long does my monologue need to be? These are all kinds of questions, even that I get asked every day.
So when they walk out of Barbizon, these are the kind of things that you've taught them.
They're prepared.
That and self-esteem and self-confidence and etiquette. There's a proper way, to go through life. Do you go through life as expecting everything to be handed to you? Or do you go through life trying to make things happen for yourself? And for those people, there's great success for them. There's great failure, but there's great success as well.
And some of the most successful talent that I represent, they're proactive. I mean, they check in with me. They don't just sit and wait for me to call them. They call and say, hey, Paige, do you have anything going on? I'm available for auditions. I'd love for you to send me out. This is what I've got going on. Hey, I just did this play. I want you to come see me perform in this. They're kind of always keeping me in the loop in what they're doing. And I remember those actors because I know that they're serious about it and they take this business seriously.
And we're always looking for professional actors who have a very strong resume. Please send your resumes to the agency. We'd be happy to take a look at them.
Yeah, those are the people that get work, right? I mean, not the people that are sitting there waiting for the phone to ring.
That's right.
Correct. That is correct again.
There's the myth I just mentioned again about Lana Turner sitting in a soda shop or whatever, having a Coke, and somebody discovered her. But that's not going to happen to everybody.
That's right.
No, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is that you need to be proactive with what you're doing, and you need to go to auditions, and you need to be seen. Sending in your resume to an agent, more than likely, it very well may be filed. But on many instances, going to an open call, and they see your personality, that might sell much better for yourself.
Yeah, there's a great expression I believe in. It's you never know. You might be there for one thing, they discover you for something else.
Right.
Well, I have a better expression. If you
What's
don't
that?
ask the question, the answer is always no.
That's right.
So if you don't go to the audition, you'll never know whether you got it or not.
It's like the lottery. If you don't win, you don't. If you don't play, you
don't
can't
play.
win.
Yeah, but there you save money.
Some things might be jumping ahead for people, but just to throw it out there, what they might want to know about unions, whether they should be union or not, or if it's way ahead of the game.
Well,
there is a lot of non-union work in Chicago. I think.
Well, that answers the question for me. That's kind
Yeah.
of what I'm asking, so people know.
Sure.
there is a lot of non-union work here. There's also a lot of work, as we spoke from before, to be able to get your reels through production companies or through the two universities that are here that are having advanced programs for their graduates. The other thing is that, well, you know, the union is going to be a little bit more active here because of Mayor Emanuel bringing in so many of these TV shows and now movies.
Mm-hmm.
The union is a good thing for those people who are in it. They'll be able to have a pension plan, and they'll be able to have insurance. On another note, it's very expensive to join the union and to maintain your dues.
Mm-hmm.
But supposedly, if you're in the union and you're getting work, then it's all paying for itself. It's very difficult to get into the union. We call it a catch-22, I think.
That's right.
In order to get into the union, in order to do a union job, you need to be in the union. And then so somebody says, well, how do you get into the union?
Yeah. Let's move on to exclusivity, which might be a word that people shouldn't worry about yet, right? I mean, in other words, having more than one agent.
When you're first starting out, if you have a great headshot and maybe you have a basic resume put together, I think what you should do is just do a mailing to all the agencies. Send a hard copy of your photo and resume, maybe put together a short cover letter introducing yourself, let them know that you're a new face and that you're seeking representation. And just my suggestion is to multi-list, which would be to work with a few different agencies. Maybe see if you have a good connection with one agent, and if they decide they want to sign you exclusive, maybe try it for 6 months or a year and see if they are really promoting you and really sending you out.
What can you tell me about kids? You know, my kid is so cute. Make him a model.
Well, it definitely takes more than the cuteness factor. Personality plays a huge role in that, as well as the parents. So if I'm choosing to represent a child, I will really focus in and interview the parent as well, just to make sure that they're available to take the child to the audition, that they're not forcing the kid into this, that the child really has a passion for it and they really want to do it. And the child has to really have a good attention span, feel comfortable meeting new people. It can be intimidating, cameras and lights and photographers and meeting strangers.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's overwhelming, I think, even for an adult. So for a kid, you really need to be careful. So.
Well, we've covered a lot of things, but I think one thing we've said over and over again is that you don't have to have that picture perfect look, no pun intended.
No,
you know?
Average Joes. Most clients just want, hey, I want the guy next door, I want the girl next door. Just somebody who looks like my neighbor. It can be anybody.
With personality.
Exactly. Any size, any shape.
And it's a big industry. There's a million jobs out there. I mean, not a million, but there's hairstylists, there's wardrobe, there's production.
Fashion merchandising, retail,
Sure.
photography, makeup artistry.
There's books out there. Oh, I got a phone call.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Hello? No. Bye. All right. That guy's calling me back, telling me I didn't get that part from last week, so I gotta go talk to him.
Oh,
I got some cannolis for you.
See, rejection is a part of
it's
an
terrible.
industry.
Well, this guy's gonna hear about it. First he tells me I have it, then I don't have it. Well,
thank you, Vince.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank
My
you.
best to Sheila.
Thank
family.
you.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry I got to leave.
Appreciate it.
Oh, man.
Well, you're a busy guy.
I am a
You're
busy
busy guy.
I thought I had the part. I'll see.
Bye-bye. That's good.
Yeah, I mean...